All right, everyone, Deepak here. I know a few of you are traveling and or in transit, and a few of you I haven't heard from. So I don't know if anyone's showing up, but we will plow ahead as we're going to. So, and sorry about this box that's behind me. My daughter was vacuuming and moving things around. So anyway, let's get started here. So, and maybe some one or two of you will join in a second. So let me share my screen. All right, so here we are. We're in week 6 of 10 weeks, and it's our last week on nutrition. And I don't know, I'll just say this. I don't know if any of you had a chance with our extra long week break in between, if anyone had a chance to finish up and work on their food log. I strongly recommend that. And I think we're going to have some extra sessions maybe tacked on to the end. So definitely, if you haven't started, like start. I think it's super valuable. I think nutrition is like one of the top things we can do for our health for sure. So let's move on here. All right, so there's no one here to share, so we'll check that in next time. So we're going to talk about supplement basics, supplement plus, and we won't be doing food log today unless someone joins and has it ready. All right, so we are going to be talking about supplements. So I guess normally I would ask, what supplements do you take now? So maybe it's a bit of a homework assignment when you watch this on the recording. Send me an email. What supplements do you take now? Love to know what you're taking. All right. So um, actually, before I get to that, I just want to start off with the fact that, it's probably not a surprise to any of you. We've had a little bit of this conversation throughout the course, if you're up to date with the recordings and live, is that, with our modern farming practices, monocrop agriculture and the like, our food no longer has the same level of nutrients that it did from when our parents did or when our grandparents had. Most people are deficient in a number of nutrients and would actually benefit greatly from supplementing. Now, remember, it's called supplementation for a reason. We should be eating real whole foods to get, the nutrients that we, as much as we can. But even doing that, we're not going to get everything. So we do need to supplement a little bit. And again, we're just going high level here. This is not super in depth. I could do a whole course just on supplements and go really in depth on them, and even what supplements interfere with medications you're on and that sort of thing. So again, this is just an introductory course, so we're just going to go high level here. But again, happy to answer any of your questions that you have during our next Q&A. And also, I just want to say this is not to be construed as medical advice. I have your forms, but I don't have any blood labs or anything like that for any of you. So these are just going to what generally most people are deficient in. Okay, it's not medical advice. So magnesium benefits include improves sleep, reduces stress, improves mental performance, relieves constipation, improves the immune system, reduces muscle tension, strengthens our bones and joints, relieves pain and headaches, reduces anxiety, and increases our energy. We talked about magnesium last week. I even provided the link to the company that I prefer, the one that we use in our family. Again, you can choose whichever one you like. If you do choose to use the Bioptimizers magnesium, do use my link. It'll save you 10%, and I'll make a few pennies. But go with whatever works for you. I'll just say this anecdotally. I used to get leg cramps every once in a while, even with robust stretching after doing exercise, particularly strength training, etc. But I still occasionally get leg cramps. But with magnesium, nearly eliminated getting any sort of leg cramps, that sort of thing. Now, be aware there's many different forms of magnesium, and they all work on different pathways. But generally, try and stay clear of magnesium oxide and magnesium stearate. That's typically you'll find them in other supplements as just a filler that an excipient that helps the whatever you're having go through the machines to make them into capsules or pills. Again, I personally like to take a broad spectrum magnesium that includes all 7 forms of magnesium. Again, that's why I like the Bioptimizers product. And again, if you need me that link again, or so you can save 10% off, just let me know. I can send that to you. All right. Vitamin D benefits include cell formation, bone health, heart health, skin and hair health, reproductive, vascular, and respiratory health, your immune system, digestive system, eye health, mood, aging, weight management, and even sleep. Now, typically a pill you're going to see or a capsule, what have you, is going to be, 1,000 to 2,000 IU. But 20 minutes of sun exposure with at least 40% of your skin exposed. So let's say your chest, back, or parts of your chest, back, your arms, legs, etc., can provide the equivalent of 40,000 IU. So you can, so vitamin D, again, technically it's not a supplement, it's a hormone, but in this context, we'll call it a supplement. Vitamin D is fat soluble, so you do need to take it with a fat, and I'll come back to that in a second. And it can accumulate and be toxic in very high doses if it's from synthetic or supplement form, not from natural, your body converting naturally from sunlight. That being said, you have to go to really, really high doses. People who are low in vitamin D who get shots from their doctor, they're getting, again, 10, 20,000 IU. So I'm a big believer, again, for all these things, immune system, heart health, etc. A big proponent of vitamin D. So I'll just use myself as an example. Even in the summertime, I will take a baseline maintenance dose, if you will, of 2,000 IU while I'm also getting outside in the sun, doing yard work, stand up paddleboarding, take my dog for a walk, et cetera, et cetera. In the wintertime, I will double or even go a little bit higher. Kind of just depends how I'm feeling. So that's vitamin D. So next, vitamin C. It is in benefits includes antioxidant. It help benefits the immune system, joint and artery health, adrenal support. They say that the vitamin C levels in an organic orange are half of what we would have seen in a regular orange historically. And one would think that that would translate to other vitamin-rich foods and other vitamin C-rich foods, such as peppers and tomatoes and many others. So, from a cost benefit perspective, vitamin C is like the cheapest vitamin you can buy over the counter. You can get quality stuff at like Costco and your big box stores. I'm going to talk a bit more about quality a little bit towards the end. But if there's one vitamin that you're not taking to really boost up, that really costs pennies, it would be vitamin C, especially for your immune system health. So again, these are not recommendations. This is just what Deepak does. I take, outside of in my food, I get a little bit in my multivitamin that I take earlier in the day, and then right before bed, I will take 1.5 grams. So 500 mg tablets, I'll take 3 of them, 1.5 grams. Again, why do I take it before bed? Because when I'm resting, and we're going to talk about sleep in a couple weeks here, when I'm resting, I want the vitamin C on board. Again, it's an antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, to be working while I'm sleeping and resting. So I've done vitamin IVs. I've done lots of types of IVs, but a vitamin C IV where I'm getting upwards of 10 grams of vitamin C intravenously. So again, you can't really overdo it. Vitamin C is water soluble. So if your body doesn't need it, you will pee it out. So if you have again, it depends what you're taking and all those sorts of things. But if you're peeing out very bright, neon yellow urine, that's probably your vitamins coming out. You probably overdid it. So just gotta play with that a little bit. Okay, next we have here zinc. So zinc is obviously a metal, but we do need it for health. We need a little bit of it. So the benefits include immune health, reduces inflammation, and very important for estrogen balance. So again, for both men and women, but more so even for women. So we need to have zinc on board. Testing if you're deficient in zinc is a very inexpensive test. It costs like $5 or $10. I know that was a number of years ago. Maybe it's a bit more now with inflation, but very inexpensive. So very easy to supplement with that. I just remembered something. I'm going to go back here for 1 second. Sorry. Vitamin D, um, again, it's fat soluble, fat soluble vitamin hormone. So you need to take it with a fats when you're eating it. I prefer to have my vitamin D be like a gel cap, and the gel is actually is the fat. So the one I take is my preferred brand from Pure Vitamin Club. I can give you the link for that. I have no affiliation with them whatsoever, but they actually encapsulate it in a high quality olive oil. So if you remember from a number of weeks ago, from 3 weeks ago, we were talking about things, common foods that cause inflammation for us, and seed oils, soybean oil, things like that cause inflammation. So I like my vitamin D to be in a nice oil, so either coconut oil or in the one my particular favorite is in a high quality olive oil is the way it comes in. So I wanted to come back to that. All right, back to zinc. So um, so it's believed that 25% of the world's, I think it's actually a bit higher now, but let's call it greater than 25% of the world's population is deficient in zinc due to lack of zinc in the diet. And the best places to get zinc in your diet are like oysters and mussels, shellfish, etc. So that's not something I eat them once in a while, but not huge into my diet or our family's diet. So I do supplement with zinc. And again, you don't need very much. Usually, it's a very low dose. Okay, and then omega-3, the benefits include anti-inflammatory, cellular health, combats depression and anxiety, improves sleep, eye health, brain health, bone and joint health, heart health. And the best food sources are wild-caught fish and algae. And you can get some benefits from walnuts, flax, and chia as well, but they're not as bioavailable as animal protein sources. So again, I kind of alluded to earlier, quality is important. You typically get what you pay for. High quality supplements or good quality supplements will cost more. And again, unless you're talking about vitamin C or maybe even like zinc, again, because it's very low dose, very inexpensive, your drugstore brands or the brands from your grocery store or whatever is probably fine. But we're talking omega-3s, magnesium, vitamin D, etc. We want to pay for better quality stuff. Now we all have to fit it within our own budget, what makes sense for us, absolutely. But those are the ones where you want to like lean towards if you're going to spend a little bit more, what you want to get there. So let me stop the share here for a moment. And I think I alluded to this last week. Cohorts in the past have found it very beneficial or interesting if on one of our strategy implementation Q&A calls to go over what I take and what brands and doses and that sort of thing. So I will do that in one of our makeup sessions down the road, or maybe even next week if requested. So I just wanted to share that I was I'll still happy to do that for everyone. So now I want to move on to what I call supplementation plus. So just a couple extra things. So those were kind of the baselines I think everyone should take. And then now like here's like a couple extra things you can add in, again, depending on your needs and also your budget as well. So let me share my screen again. All right. So number one is prebiotics. So prebiotics are beneficial for immune health. It reduces inflammation and provides estrogen balance. Again, important for both sexes, but even more so for women. So prebiotic foods prebiotics are foods or fibers that act as food for the good bacteria in the gut. So prebiotics are the food for the bacteria, good and bad, that is already in our stomach. So prebiotics are in foods such as greener bananas, onions, greens, garlic, artichokes, and such. Now, probiotics are anti-inflammatory, provide for cellular health. They combats depression and anxiety, improves sleep, eye health, brain health, bone and joint health, and heart health as well. Most of us have heard by now, I think I've even brought it up in earlier weeks, that our gut is, our second brain. Some people even believe, our gut is actually our first brain, or they work in tandem. There's certainly a gut-brain axis, so information is going back and forth. That's well proven. That's scientifically proven. So our gut bacteria is super important. So probiotics are live microorganisms that add to the population of good bacteria in our gut. So again, when you take probiotics, you're actually adding bacteria. You're actually taking a bacteria population and adding it to your food. So probiotics can also be found in foods such as yogurt, sauerkraut, kimchi, etc. When I was going through my health challenges, especially some of my gut issues, I did use probiotics for a while. I didn't really find much of a benefit, or not enough that moved the dial for me for the cost. And again, quality ones are going to cost a fair amount. And the question that I get quite often is like, what about the shelf stable ones, or that don't have to be refrigerated versus the ones that have to be refrigerated, etc. Here's the big rub on probiotics. Is that our stomachs are so acidic, right? They're supposed to be, that those. So when we say the gut, we're not really talking our stomach. We're not populating our stomach with good bacteria. We're populating beyond our stomach into the intestine, small intestine, and so forth. So most probiotics are not going to survive the stomach acid. So they're kind of really, I would say some will get through, but like, paying 50, 60, or, for a probiotic that, 80, 90% of it's not going to make it through, might not make sense for your budget and for your needs. And it certainly didn't for me. It wasn't moving the dial anyway, and it was kind of expensive. So I don't take it. I do try and eat probiotic-rich foods quite often, and I figure, and now keep in mind, I don't have the gut issues that I did before, and I think there's a lot of ways to handle that. Just everything we're talking about in this course: proper sleep, proper movement, eating other real whole foods, et cetera. So all that affects the gut anyway. So I don't see the need. So I don't personally use probiotics anymore. I will say there is a couple of brands, I've never used them, that apparently have this proprietary technology and an enteric coating on the outside that allows them to pass through the stomach before they kind of break open and then populate where we want them. So and then I was just going to say about going back to prebiotics for a second. Again, just a lot of stuff that I already eat in my diet anyway. Lots of onions, garlic. I eat lots of greens. I try and eat as green bananas as possible, not too green, because those are just gross. But when they're just barely turning yellow, I try and eat those kind of type of bananas. So yeah, moving on. No, okay, it's not on the slide here. Prebiotics. So prebiotics, going back to that, help probiotics grow and prevent harmful bacteria from overpowering the system. So again, we want to feed our good bacteria so they can flourish and crowd out the bad bacteria, as opposed to the other way around. And probiotics provide benefits from like preventing inflammation, potentially preventing inflammation, infection, or gastrointestinal symptoms. So this is very important. We can't neglect our gut. And prebiotics and probiotics are just one of the tools that we can use for that. All right, curcumin, anti-inflammatory, it's an antioxidant, provides psychological health and cognitive function as well. So yeah, definitely is a anti-inflammatory for sure. You do have to get pretty high dose. You're not going to be getting that much in normal dietary. Even if you're eating a lot of, you'd have to eat like a lot of, foods that have curcumin in there, or turmeric in there. Like you'd have to basically probably like eating Indian food or spicy food like all the time, and that might be causing some other stuff. So, so again, for myself, I think I've shared this before. No, we just mix it in a lot with our food. Probably once a week. Definitely not a anti-inflammatory. I mean, you're going to get anti-inflammatory response for any amount you have, but I mean, like for a pain or something like that, it's not going to be enough. That being said, we do keep curcumin in the supplement cabinet. My wife tends to use a little bit more than I do, but if I have a little nagging something, my shoulders bother me for whatever reason, I'll pop one pill for a day or two maybe till that goes away. So again, I'm probably getting the dose of somewhere like 400 to 500 milligrams. Milligrams, yeah, for curcumin. Now, again, this was just a very kind of a high level here on supplements. Definitely not anything in depth by any means, and certainly not the sort of longevity, anti-aging type of next level and above supplements. But again, I'm happy to share what I take personally, or have a conversation around that during one of our next implementation strategy and Q&A calls. I will. So I guess that pretty much wraps up. Obviously, there's no one to ask questions and get into discussion. So this is gonna be a shorter recording. Let me just think of some questions that typically come up. Let me just go back. Talk about magnesium. Yeah, so like I said, vitamin D is really our hormone, so it's super important. Vitamin D, really, to get the most benefit from it, should be accompanied with a vitamin K1 and K2. So if you're going to look for either a pill tablet or a liquid dropper or something like that, make sure it comes with K1 and K2 with it. And top quality brands will automatically come with it because the science is there that makes it more bioavailable. And really, if someone is taking calcium, I'm not a huge fan of supplementing with calcium. I prefer to get it from dietary sources. Calcium done wrong actually does the opposite of what you want. It actually strips calcium out of your bones. And unfortunately, many people are doing it wrong, and many doctors just don't get this because they're not trained on supplements per se. So what I will say is if you do take a calcium supplement, make sure you're taking vitamin D along with it, and probably magnesium as well. These all play together for maximum effectiveness. So yeah, that's what I'll say with that. Vitamin C, again, it's water soluble. If your body doesn't need it at the moment, you'll just pass it through your urine. Super, super cheap, pennies on the dollar, so to speak. And you can certainly spread it out. You could take 500 or 500 milligrams or 1 gram in the day, and then maybe midday, and then before bed, etc. If I feel a little something, like I don't really get sick, but I feel like a little scratch or maybe a little extra sniffle, like what's going on for whatever reason, maybe it's allergies or maybe I've been pushing myself a little too hard, I'll add a couple other things, but I'll typically up the vitamin C. And what I'll do is I'll take another gram or gram and a half sort of midday. So I already mentioned I'll take one earlier with my multivitamin, and then 1.5 grams before bed. I might take another 1 to 1.5 grams midday if I feel a little something coming on, amongst some other things as well. Yeah, omega-3, again, I talked about it. Obviously fish, good quality fish source, which we talked about a couple of weeks ago. I would really, I'm really a big fan. A quality product, but a liquid. Just pour it out in a spoon and take that, as opposed to a gel cap or anything. Gel caps would probably be next. Essentially everything would you'd want. I guess vitamin C is fine as a tablet. Zinc is fine as a tablet. But your magnesium want to be a capsule or liquid. The one I prefer is a capsule. Let me go back to my notes here. Vitamin D, you want to be a liquid. And yeah, and definitely, I really like your omega-3 to be a liquid as well. And it's just naturally going to be fatty because it comes from it comes from a fat source, even plant-based ones are a fat source. So I just want to mention, yeah, if you're suffering from a lack of sleep, stress, headaches, brain fog, anxiety, inflammation, things that are, affecting your pain levels, your emotions, even your processing speed, your performance, your productivity, and just obviously your overall health, it could be, that could be a lot of things, all the things we're talking about this course, but it could be as simple as tweaking some of the supplements or adding something in something that simple that could be um, totally helpful for you. And what other questions do I normally get? Let me think. Oh, one thing I quite often people ask about krill oil. Krill oil, yeah, it's really good. And like assuming it's a quality sourced, quality processed product, whether it be a gel cap or a liquid, is more efficacious than your regular omega-3, but then the price point goes up really high, goes up higher as well. So I find it just a quality omega-3 more than meets the needs. And even it's not really necessarily about the omega-3 content, it's really about the DHEA and the EPA content per unit of how much you're taking of the omega-3. So for specifically for brain health, which is something that I'm concerned with as I age, you want to be in the about 1200 1500 milligrams of each. So for the brand I take, I have to take 2 to 3 tablespoons. I forget exactly now, but like more than two and something tablespoons of omega-3. So I don't know exactly. That's probably like 5 grams ish. Uh, again, of course, it's liquid, so but like equivalent of like about 5 grams, 4 or 5 grams to get the amount of DHEA and EPA that I actually want, and that's what's actually being used or in the literature for brain health and dementia and stuff like that. It's the EPA and the DHEA, not omega-3 by itself. Yeah, so I think that's all I got. You guys will have more questions after you watch this on the recording. So that's what it is. And I will see you all. So it is Thursday. We'll see you all next week on Tuesday, back on regular track with our classes. All right, everyone, take care. We will see you soon.